Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you could join me because today we are diving headfirst into a story that feels so incredibly modern. It's like it was pulled directly from a trending social media feed just yesterday. Let's talk for a moment about the strange double life we are all encouraged to live. First, there's the life you actually live. You know the one. I think does. It's the life of trying to find 2 matching socks in the morning, of spilling coffee on your 1 clean shirt, of your gourmet dinner being a handful of cereal straight from the box at 10 p.m. because you're too tired to cook. It's the life of inside jokes that only make sense to you and one other person, of awkward moments and unexpected joys. It's messy, it's unpredictable, it's chaotic, and it is beautifully unapologetic ally real. Then there's the other life, the one we perform. The one we broadcast to the world online. This life is a carefully edited movie starring ourselves. It's a highlight reel of our best moments, set to a trending audio clip and color graded to aesthetic perfection. In this world, there are no bad hair days, no boring Tuesday afternoons, no moments of doubt. It's a continuous stream of perfect sunsets, flawless selfies, exciting adventures, and achievements unlocked, all curated to please the mysterious and ever-watchful God we call the algorithm. This constant performance has created a fascinating and bizarre cultural shift that some are calling main character syndrome. It's the growing tendency for people to view their lives not as something to be lived, but as a movie in which they are the star. Everyone else, friends, family, co-workers, even strangers on the street, becomes a supporting character, an extra, or simply the audience. Their job is to watch, to admire, to like, and to follow the script that the main character has written for them. And nowhere, absolutely nowhere, is this phenomenon more on display than with modern weddings. A wedding used to be a wonderfully chaotic, deeply personal collision of 2 families, meant to celebrate a commitment. Now for some, it has become a full-blown professional production. The couple aren't just getting married, they're launching their new brand. The guests aren't just loved ones, they are a carefully cast audience, sometimes chosen based on their follower count or how well they fit the desired wedding aesthetic. This brings us to a deeply uncomfortable question for our modern age. In a world obsessed with crafting the perfect online image, what happens when your own family decides you don't fit their brand? What does it feel like when your own flesh and blood, the people who are supposed to be your unshakable supporting cast, essentially tell you, "We love you, but you're not quite right for this scene. Your part has been cut." Feel free to watch the final movie online with the rest of the world. The story you're about to hear is about a sister who was handed that exact script. She was demoted from a lead role in her sister's life to a virtual audience member for the biggest day of her life. But instead of quietly accepting her role, she decided to flip the script, grab her own camera, and become the director of a show that nobody, especially her sister, saw coming. And if you love a good story about flipping the script and celebrating what's real over what's curated, now would be the perfect time to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and you won't want to miss what we have coming up. Now let's get into it. Our story is told from the perspective of a woman named Maya. Maya is, by all accounts, a normal person. She's a graphic designer, which means she spends her days making things look good for other people, but her own life is a comfortable, uncurated collection of inside jokes, mismatched socks, and a deep, abiding love for her family. At the heart of that family was her relationship with her younger sister, Chloe. Growing up, Maya and Chloe were inseparable. They were the kind of sisters who had their own secret language, who could make each other laugh until they cried with just a single look. Maya was the steady, artistic one. Chloe was the firecracker, the one with a magnetic personality who could charm her way into and out of anything. Maya was the keeper of secrets and the shoulder to cry on. Chloe was the one who pushed Maya to be more adventurous, to step outside her comfort zone. They were different, but they fit. They were a team. As they got older, that dynamic began to shift. Chloe, with her radiant smile and effortless charisma, discovered the power of social media. It wasn't just a hobby, it was a calling. Her Instagram account, which started as a place for goofy selfies with Maya, slowly transformed. It became a meticulously crafted gallery of her life. Every brunch was perfectly plated. Every outfit was a statement. Every vacation looked like a page out of a travel magazine. She wasn't just living her life, she was producing it. Maya watched this transformation with a mix of awe and a strange, quiet sadness. She was proud of her sister's ability to build this online brand, but she missed the girl who would laugh with food in her teeth. She missed the unfiltered Chloe. Their phone calls became less about sharing secrets and more about Chloe asking Maya's opinion on which filter made her look more authentically happy. Then came Liam. Liam was, in a word, perfect. At least, on paper. He was a successful investment banker, handsome in a way that looked like he'd been custom designed by a committee. and he had a portfolio of interests that included sailing, charity galas, and collecting rare artisanal cheese. More importantly, he looked fantastic on Chloe's Instagram feed. Their couple hashtag, #ChloeAndLo, was a masterclass in branding. When they announced their engagement, it wasn't a surprise. It was the logical next step in the narrative Chloe was writing. And the wedding, from the moment it was announced, was destined to be the season finale. This wasn't just going to be a wedding, it was going to be an event. It was going to be content. Maya, of course, assumed she would be the maid of honor. It was an unspoken rule of their entire childhood. They had planned it out in crayon when they were 6 and 8 years old. Maya would give a funny, slightly embarrassing speech. She would make sure Chloe's dress was perfect, and she'd hold her bouquet. It was a given. But in the new world, the world of curated perfection, nothing was a given. The call came on a Tuesday evening. Maya was at her apartment, wrestling with a new IKEA bookshelf and losing badly. May. Guess what? Chloe's voice was fizzing with excitement. We have a date and a venue. It's going to be at the Oakwood Estate. It's divine. You'll die. Oh my God, Chloe, that's amazing, Maya said, genuinely happy for her. I can't wait. So, when do my maid of honor duties officially begin? Do I need to start planning a bachelorette party that will be both wild and tastefully Instagram-mable? There was a pause on the other end of the line. It was just a second too long. It was the kind of pause that makes your stomach do a little nervous flip. So about that, Chloe began, her voice shifting from champagne fizz to something more carefully managed. We're doing things a little differently. Liam and I, we just want something really small and intimate, you know? Just our absolute closest circle. Okay, Maya said slowly. I mean, I'm your sister. I think I make the circle. Well, yes, of course you do, Chloe said with a laugh that didn't quite reach her eyes even over the phone. But the thing is, the venue has a really strict capacity limit, and Liam's family is, well, it's huge. And with his business partners, it just got really complicated. We had to make some really tough choices. Maya felt a cold dread creeping up her spine. The half-assembled bookshelf behind her seemed to mock her with its own state of disarray. Chloe, what are you trying to say? Don't be mad, Chloe said, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. It's not personal, it's just logistics. But we came up with the perfect solution. We're having the entire ceremony professionally live streamed. It's gonna have multiple camera angles and everything, like a movie premiere, so you won't miss a thing. You can get all dressed up, pour some champagne, and watch it from the comfort of your couch. It'll be like you're right there. Maya was speechless. Her brain simply could not compute the words she was hearing. Watch her own sister's wedding. Online? Like it was a new episode of a show she was mildly interested in. You're uninviting me? From your wedding? Maya finally managed to say, her voice barely a whisper. I'm not uninviting you, Chloe corrected her as if the terminology was the problem. I'm digitally including you? It's modern. It's safer. And honestly, May, you've always said you hate big, stuffy parties. This way, you get the best of both worlds. The conversation ended soon after. Maya mumbled something about the IKEA bookshelf and hung up. She sank onto her floor, the phone slipping from her hand. The hurt was a physical thing. It was a sharp, stabbing pain right in the center of her chest. It wasn't about the party. It wasn't about the fancy venue. It was about being told that she, the sister who had held her hand through scraped knees and bad breakups, the one who knew all her secrets, was now considered a logistical problem. She wasn't part of the closest circle. She was a B-lister. She was someone who could be outsourced to the internet. In the weeks that followed, the full picture came into focus. The official wedding invitations went out, thick, letterpress monstrosities that probably cost more than Maya's monthly rent. She didn't get one, of course. What she got was an email with a slickly designed digital card. You're invited to the virtual wedding of Chloe and Liam. It chirped with a link to a password-protected website. She soon discovered she wasn't alone. Her favorite aunt, the one who taught them both how to bake, got the same email. So did their 2 childhood best friends and their cousins from Ohio. The small, intimate wedding guest list, it turned out, was a who's who of Liam's business associates, Chloe's influencer friends, and a handful of distant relatives with impressive sounding titles. The real family, the people who had loved Chloe before she had followers, were all relegated to the live stream. The anger came after the hurt. It was a slow simmering fire. Chloe was creating a fantasy wedding with a fantasy guest list. She was erasing her own history, her own messy, beautiful, real family, in favor of a cast of characters who would look good in the photos. Maya stared at the digital invitation on her laptop screen. Watch from the comfort of your couch, it said. And that's when the idea struck her. It arrived fully formed, a mischievous, brilliant, and slightly terrifying bolt of lightning. Chloe wanted her to watch from home? Fine. but she would decide what home looked like. And she would decide who she was watching with. If Chloe wanted to put on a show for the internet, Maya would too. Only her show would be better. It would be real. The plan was simple, and in its simplicity, it was genius. Maya wasn't going to sit at home alone in her pajamas, sadly munching on popcorn while watching her sister get married on a laptop. No, she was going to throw a party. A big one. An uninvited wedding reception. She created a group chat. The first members were Aunt Carol, the baker, and their 2 childhood friends, Jess and Becca. The subject line was, "So," about that livestream. The response was immediate. The hurt and confusion that had been simmering in private text messages erupted into a shared sense of indignant comical outrage. She told me she'd save me a piece of virtual cake. Aunt Carol typed, followed by a string of angry face emojis. I was told my presence would be felt from afar, Jess added. I'm not a ghost, Chloe. Maya laid out her plan. On the day of Chloe's wedding, they would all gather at their parents' house. Their backyard was the stuff of legends, a rambling, slightly overgrown paradise where they had held every significant family event for the past 30 years. It was where they'd had birthday parties, graduation cookouts, and bonfire nights. It was the heart of their family. It was as real as Chloe's rented estate was fake. The theme of the party would be a celebration of real love and questionable choices. The dress code was come as you are, but comfier. Instead of a 5-course catered meal, it would be a potluck. Featuring all of Chloe's favorite childhood foods, she now pretended she was too sophisticated to eat. Aunt Carol's 7-layer dip, their dad's slightly burnt but always delicious barbecue, and a jello mold in the shape of a flamingo, for reasons lost to time. And the best part? The main event? They would project Chloe's official wedding livestream onto a giant, inflatable movie screen in the backyard. They would watch it together. They would cheer, they would heckle. They would provide the running commentary that a sterile, professionally produced broadcast so desperately needed. But Maya had one more trick up her sleeve. One final, perfect, petty little detail. She told everyone in the group chat, and we are going to live stream our party too. The idea was met with a chorus of digital cheers. This wasn't just about reclaiming the day. It was about creating a parallel event, an alternate reality. Chloe had her perfect, curated online wedding. They would have their messy, real, and far more entertaining one. They set up a private Facebook group, Chloe's Other Wedding, and the digital uninvitations went out to everyone who had been left off the real list. Within a week, they had nearly 100 RSVPs. The digital outcasts were forming an army. The day of the wedding arrived. It was a beautiful, sunny Saturday, in a pristine, manicured estate miles away. Chloe was probably having her makeup professionally applied while a string quartet played softly in the background. At the Jenkins family home, things were a little different. The backyard was a chaotic symphony of folding chairs, coolers filled with drinks, and the smell of barbecue. Aunt Carol arrived with a tray of cupcakes decorated with little laughing faces. Their cousins from Ohio, who had decided to make the drive after all, were setting up a badminton net. Jess and Becca were trying to untangle a string of fairy lights, laughing so hard they could barely stand. Maya stood in the middle of it all, a phone in her hand, a huge smile on her face. This was it. This felt right. This was family. At 4 p.m. sharp, 2 things happened. On the giant inflatable screen at the front of the yard, the professional live stream from the Oakwood estate began. The picture was flawless. The music was elegant. There was Chloe, looking like a princess, walking down an aisle lined with more flowers than a botanical garden. At the exact same moment, Maya hit the go live button on the Chloe's Other Wedding Facebook group. She propped her phone up on a tripod that gave a perfect wide-angle view of the entire backyard party. Welcome everyone to the official viewing party of the Chloe and Liam wedding, Maya announced to her phone's camera. We've got food, we've got family, and we've got opinions. Let the games begin. For the first half hour, the 2 live streams existed in their separate universes. Chloe's stream was beautiful, but quiet. The guests sat in perfect rows. The vows were heartfelt, but scripted. Their stream, on the other hand, was glorious chaos. When the priest on the big screen asked if anyone had any objections, their dad yelled, "I object to the price of this thing," to a roar of laughter. When Chloe and Liam had their first kiss, the backyard erupted in genuine, heartfelt cheers that were probably louder than the polite applause at the actual venue. During the boring parts, the endless signing of the registry, the awkward transitional music, Maya would take her phone and do a walking tour of their party. She interviewed Aunt Carol about the secret ingredient in her dip. It was love and a little extra garlic powder. She showed their old dog, Buster, trying to steal a hot dog bun. She got their grandparents, who had been married for 60 years, to give their own, far more practical marriage advice. The secret, said Grandpa, never go to bed angry and have separate blankets. Trust me on that one. The magic started to happen in the comment section. Mutual friends who were watching Chloe's official stream started seeing links to the Facebook Live. A comment would pop up on the official page. This is nice, but the real party is over here. Slowly at first, and then all at once, the viewership numbers on Maya's live stream started to climb. 50 viewers, 100, 250. People were tuning in from all over. Friends of friends, distant relatives who hadn't even gotten the digital invite, people who just stumbled across it. They were captivated by the sheer joy and authenticity of it all. The tipping point came during the speeches. On the big screen, Liam's best man, another investment banker, was giving a stiff, boring speech filled with financial metaphors. At the same time, Maya's dad got up on their back porch with a microphone. "I'm not at the main event," he said, "but I've got a speech too." He proceeded to tell a series of hilarious, deeply embarrassing stories about Chloe's childhood, the time she cut her own hair and tried to blame it on the dog, the time she entered a talent show with a dramatic reading of a takeout menu. The backyard was in stitches. The comment section of the livestream was a waterfall of laughing emojis. Miles away, at the Oakwood estate, Chloe and Liam were at their head table, smiling their perfectly polished smiles. But then, their phones started to buzz, and buzz, and buzz. Guests started looking down at their own phones, whispering, a few of them stifling laughs. A cousin of Liam's, who had been watching the backyard stream under the table, finally leaned over. Chloe, you might want to see this." He showed her his phone. It was Maya's live stream. It was the shot of their entire extended family raising their glasses to toast with the giant screen showing her own wedding in the background. It was a picture of two worlds colliding. The fallout was immediate, and it was spectacular. According to Jess, who got the inside scoop from a friend who was a real guest, Chloe's perfect smile froze on her face. She spent the rest of her $500,000 reception locked in a bathroom, furiously texting Maya a string of words that would make a sailor blush. The confrontation came a week later, after Chloe and Liam got back from their mini-moon in Bora Bora, which of course was documented with 100 flawless photos. Maya agreed to meet her at a neutral location, a coffee shop. Chloe arrived looking like she was ready for battle, wearing sunglasses so big they could have been a motorcycle helmet. "How could you?" she hissed, sliding into the booth. "You ruined my wedding. You humiliated me." Maya took a slow sip of her latte before answering. "No, Chloe, I didn't," she said, her voice calm and steady. "I just reminded you of what a wedding is supposed to be about. It's not about the venue or the flowers or how good it looks on Instagram. It's about family. The people who love you. The people you hurt when you told them they weren't important enough to be in the room," she continued. "You tried to turn our family into a TV show that you could produce and edit. You wanted to cut out all the messy, inconvenient, real parts. All I did was throw a party for the cast of the director's cut. And it turns out, people liked our version better." Chloe sat there, stunned into silence. For the first time in years, she looked like she didn't have a filter. The curated mask was gone, and underneath was just a girl who had gotten so lost in the game of online perfection that she had forgotten how to win in real life. The story of Chloe's 2 weddings became a family legend. It was a messy, complicated, and ultimately healing process. It took a long time for Chloe to truly understand the hurt she had caused, and even longer for her to start untangling her real life from her online one. Their relationship didn't snap back to normal overnight, but it started to become real again, and it serves as a powerful and hilarious reminder. Your life is not a brand. Your family is not your audience. And if you ever try to replace the people who held your hand in real life with followers on a screen, don't be surprised if they decide to throw a better party without you. So what do you think? Was Maya a hero, or did she take her revenge too far? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tales of when the real world claps back. Thanks for watching.